Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we like old Ford pickups around here. So I got to thinking, what are we missing around here really? We've got Vicky, the bump side Ford, being built into basically a muscle truck. We have the 78, my old high school ride, which we just revived. The 78 is the lifted four-wheel drive dentside pickup. So what is the trifecta of old Ford pickups? Muscle truck, bump side, dent side 4x4, old school street rod F1. That's what we're lacking around here. Well, guess what? We're going to get one. That's right. In this episode, we're turning a 75 supercab F100 parts truck into a future F1 street rod. Let's get into it. So an easy way to end up with more old Ford pickup trucks is to have old Ford pickup trucks, because then you get people that say like, hey, I saw this guy, he's got an old Ford pickup on the side of the road for sale. Is that something you're looking for? So anyway, I have a friend named Kevin who has another friend named Willie who has a bunch of old Ford pickups, and I got a call from Kevin a little while ago saying, hey, this guy is gonna have to start getting rid of some stuff because he's moving. He's got a whole bunch of old Ford trucks. Here's his number, text him. And I mean, when people tell you stuff like that, you do it. So I texted Willie and said, hey man, Kevin said you got some old Fords you're wanting to get rid of. What do you have? He just texted me back, what are you looking for? I said, well, you know, I've always wanted to do a first generation Ford F1 pickup, you know, as like an old school street rod. And he says, yeah, I got one of those. I'm like, well, how much do you want? He's like, well, what do you got for trade? I said, well, I have this 75 F100 supercab that's basically a parts truck. It's all loaded. I mean, the truck is rotted out junk basically, but it's a good parts truck, and it has a 4-barrel 390 in it. I went out with Roni and looked at the truck, the Ford F1. I'll stick some pictures in here if I still have them. Looked at it, I showed him some pictures on my phone of the supercab, and he was like, yeah, let's do her. So we road tripped west across Montana and made a trade. First part of it, going down to my dad's house to pick up the supercab, which just been sitting, you know, on the farm for 6 years or so when I bought it. And then we headed west through Montana, drop off the supercab to Will, picked up the F1 and brought it back here. So here's some footage of the trip, loading and unloading. Okay, let's give you a walk around and show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Lou, is it ugly? What do you think? I think it's pretty, it's not a barn find, it's farm fresh. So yeah, this was in a field. I'll stick some pictures in here, but what we have is a 1948 Ford F1. And yes, it's a regular cab short box. I'm pretty sure that's the only way that a 48 F1 would come. Right? You can have it any configuration you want as long as it's a regular cab short box flare side. It's just been chilling back here serving as a parts holder. You can see it pretty much needs, you know, one of everything. But I mean, come on. This is a holy grail Ford hot rod pickup to build. It did life as a farm truck in Montana. You can see the GVW 6000, which I feel like that's pretty optimistic. The glass is, well, that window is good as far as glass goes. I think that's it. Everything else is junk. Looks like 99,000, 901. That's probably rolled over about 3 times on the gauge. Came with that grasshopper there. That guy was free. Got some wasps down in there too. So this thing, I'm not sure how long it's been sitting. There's the old 3 or 4 speed crash box. They call them that because, oh yeah, that's broken. Sweet. Clutches, no. Brakes, nope. E-brake, nope. The wiring's hashed. Anyway, they call them a crash box because they're not synchronized, I don't think. The floors are semi-decent. Okay, maybe not that, you know, it needs floors. That's, I don't know if that's factory or not. Probably not. The seats, like I said, I've been accumulating parts. These buckets are out of a Subaru something, Forester, I don't know. So yeah, but it's, I mean, it's a 48 F1, did I say that? And it's, some of it's there. Gas tank there. Most of the floor is actually pretty solid for one of these guys. And for it sitting for God knows how long. It's got one visor there. Passenger, you don't get a visor. I think it's only got one wiper too. So where was that? The good? What's the... Yep. What's the good? The good is the body is all there. It's rusty, but it's not... It's not terrible rusty. I mean, the, you know, the bed, the tailgate, and the fenders, yep, needs all of those. So it's probably going to get a whole new bed. The cab is pretty dang decent, except for the floor. And it's not even that dented up for a farm truck. Standard issue farmer implement turn signals on there. Front end is pretty rough. Grill, yep. Needs, yep. Hood, rust hole right there. Yep. So, this front plate says October of '76. Just drink that in. Just, you know, look at the potential. It's got the ventilated bedside over there with some trash poking through. It does roll though, and it does steer, which is pretty amazing. And look at that passenger side window. Just good job. Let's take a look at the engine. I mean, and it has round tires on it. They even hold air. Either that or they're so stiff that they don't go flat even without air. Alright, let's look at the power plant here. So, yeah, the power plant, as you can tell, is of the IOU variety. IOU one flathead V8 that's not there anymore. The wiring, as you can see, it's cooked. This sat with the hood off of it, but look at those frame rails. Look at that. I mean, other than the typical, farm damage or, whiskey dents, besides that, this thing does not look wrecked. Here's what made me want it real bad, is it is untouched. I'm guessing what happened is, at some point, they got a new truck. This one was getting tired and a little beat. It got parked, shoved back by the hay bales, and somebody came along at some point and liberated the flathead V8 out of it for a hot rod project or some other thing. It would have been pretty cool to build the flathead. Let me know down below in the comments what you think about that, if it was still there, but it's not. So this thing, from what I know, pretty much got used on the farm up until about 1976, and then shoved back in a bale row and sat there until now. So you do the math on that. It's 2021. It went from 1948 to 76, and it has sat until 2021. So I'm pretty sure it's been dead longer than it was ever alive, but it's gonna get a whole new life. Stay tuned for that. Okay, so here we are now, months in the future, and we are headed to get the donor car for the new project, which I've been sitting on for a while. But I have a reason for it, and that's because I wanted to kind of reveal this all together and let you know kind of some tentative plans that I have, and also to see what you guys think about that, because I have definitely a build vision for this project, but nothing is set in stone at this point. Unlike the Vicky 460 project where I brought you guys in, I already had a lot of the parts, a lot of things were decided already. Look at that beautiful Montana skyline. Crazy mountains off there in the distance. So we are headed back again to Columbus, Montana to go pick up the donor for this new project. Okay, here we are once again, leaving beautiful Columbus, Montana. Oh, please. I know what you're gonna ask yourself now. What is this lovely piece of 80s nuggetry that is right here? Look at that bullet wheel. Beautiful out here. Look at that backdrop. Doing what I always do, stopping to check straps before I hit the highway after a good jostling, and it looks like we're good to go. So what's going on with this? Well, stick around and you'll find out. Okay, so real quick, here is the donor. Not gonna show a whole lot of this, but this is an 86 Lincoln Town Car that has the same non-HO 5.0 as the Turdbird, 150 horsepower. It has an AOD automatic, an 8.8 5-lug rear end with, if the tag is to be believed, 307 gears, and it has 62,106 miles, and it is disgusting. So I'll just be showing a couple little short clips, but I'm going to gut this thing for the engine, tranny, and rear end, throw it back on the trailer, and haul it off to be crushed, because it is junk. All right, there she is. So step one is going to be to clean out the mouse house. Look at that. And get to gutting. I had thoughts of keeping the wire harness until I kind of started to see some of this stuff. Somebody, I don't know what they're doing in here, but has been messing with it. And there is a couple chew spots from rats, mice, whatever. So we're just going to leave that. And at this date in time, which I always reserve the right to change my mind because I do about 5 times, solidly leaning towards the Holley Terminator X for this guy. I think that would be the best compromise option, to have multi-port fuel injection that is hopefully good and reliable. And that comes with a complete new wire harness, so I won't need any of that. And it also will work with the stock TFI distributor and work with Ford throttle position, and IAC. So let's get to getting. So that's going to do it for this episode, the first episode on the 48 F1 old school street rod. Stay tuned, you're going to like what we've got. Drop a comment below, let me know what you would do with it, how you would build it. In the next episode, we got to get this thing out of here because I need to drive it for the wintertime. I need a 4W, and we're getting the 48 in there. I've got a whole room full of parts back there for it, so we're gonna start tearing it down, and I'm gonna show you all the goodies I got for it. Stay tuned, thanks for watching.